Happy Wednesday, everybody, and thanks for being with us on KXAN Live. Will Dupree in the KXAN Live studio, and we want to show you this gorgeous image from Marble Falls out there. Hello to all of our friends in the Hill Country. You're seeing some blue skies pop out, but you're also experiencing those cooler temperatures that we all are this morning, and I, for one, am very appreciative of it. So I wanted to talk to meteorologist Kristen Curry here this morning about this change. Very nice to see you and this colder weather again.
Oh, thank you so much, Will. Yes, I think a lot of us are looking forward to more holiday-like feel to our weather. And
Count me in.
Yeah, exactly. Some of us, it kind of starts today. So.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see those cooler temperatures. I pulled the jacket out again, and really we're going to have to keep that handy for the next few days.
Yes. You ready to dive in?
Yes, we are.
Let's do it. Okay, so cold front moved through yesterday. I'm sure you felt it. We did see some cooler temperatures this morning, most of us waking up to the 50s, but let's talk high temperatures first, because yesterday we were in the upper 70s. Austin, we hit 78 degrees, which is certainly well above normal for us, but for most of this month we've been in the 70s, if not even some 80-degree days last week. Moving forward, we're done with the 70s. We're done with the 80s. These are your high temperatures for the next 4 days. And as you can see, both today and tomorrow, mid to upper 60s. Now, for perspective, 64 is normal. So we're still, even today, a little bit warmer than where we should be in the middle of December. But there will be a cold front moving in Thursday night. Now, I hesitate with it because it's a dry cold front. It gives us a little bit of a cool down. And a wind shift, that's it. So you'll probably won't even notice it, other than the fact that the temperatures will be a little cooler heading into the weekend. Where I think it's really going to hurt, overnight. So we woke up to 50s in most areas this morning. Tomorrow morning, 30s, the next morning 30s, the next morning 30s. You can kind of catch my drift here, right? We are going to be much, much colder in the mornings moving forward. And these are your Austin temperatures. So for those west of 35, I'm looking at you, Hill Country. You're likely going to be seeing some light freezes daily here as we transition into the weekend. So both your afternoon and your overnight temperatures getting much colder as we transition into this week, Will.
Seeing those cooler temperatures here in Austin, is there a potential for a freeze to happen anywhere in our area?
For the Hill Country, yes, tomorrow morning. So we're probably going to be flirting with about 32, 33 in spots, rural areas as well. Austin proper, not yet. You can see we get down to about 36 on Sunday, but that's only the next 4 days. So let me stretch out the 7-day, take you a little bit further beyond this. You'll notice that 7-day forecast shows 60s today, 60s tomorrow. We talked about the dry cold front. We've got the 50s moving forward, a few spotty showers possible as we get into Saturday, more so Monday here. Right now, I'm just tracking mainly rain. You see Sean's name on the 7-day. He was the last to use it on our CW Austin show, but I can tell you, I was making these numbers this morning. I warmed them up just a little bit compared to what David was showing you last night, just with the newest model data. I was seeing our forecast models not trending as cold, so minor adjustments here and there. But then we look beyond the 7 days. So let me show you what our 2-week outlooks are showing. So the dates there at the top, December 21st through 27th. So kind of squarely right in the middle of the Christmas holiday. Colder than normal. What does that mean? That means that there is a good probability we're going to be somewhere in between colder than normal highs, which is mid-60s this time of year, and colder than normal lows, which would be 40s in the morning. So the darker the colors mean the higher the confidence. It tells us nothing about how far below normal we're going to be, just the fact that our forecast is trending colder getting into the Christmas holiday. Now, it's also trending near normal, I should say, to drier than normal. We don't typically see a whole lot of precipitation in the month of December, so I'm not as convinced with this rainfall outlook, but going backwards, I am convinced the fact that Christmas is trending cold. You're going to see on social media a lot of people saying, hey, there's a huge Arctic outbreak. It's going to be frozen across the entire United States. Don't believe it. We have a really good grasp on what happens within the next 2 to 3 days when it comes to forecasting. We can go out to 7, but really day 6 and 7 from today, it's a little iffy, right? A lot of changes between now and then. Any forecasting beyond day 7 is very, very uncertain. There's a high uncertainty in what actually happens. This kind of gives us a peek at what our weather pattern could look like. So if I had to say right now, Christmas is probably going to be cold. Do I expect a repeat of what we had last February? No, not at all. I mean, that's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime storm. Thank goodness. We hope we don't see that kind of system again. I would just say for Christmas here in Central Texas. Plan for some really cold temperatures overnight, so probably some hard freezes there, and some chilly afternoon temperatures.
We are busting myths and telling the truth on KXAN Live this morning. I love it. But what's really great for me is that, the cooler temperatures, they are married to Christmas, in my opinion,
Yes.
in my mind, is my experience. So I'm loving to see this.
I think so too. I mean, we got Hanukkah starting on Sunday.
That's
It's
right.
like we're starting to get into the holiday season, and it's more normal to see cooler than normal temperatures than not. And coming off the fact that we had 80s to start December.
Oh my gosh, I know.
This isn't, I think, a little bit more of a what you think of as December. Now, what we were talking about on TV this morning is that if we're starting to talk 20s and 30s here in Texas, we're on the southern edge of that cold air. So everybody up north likely to be colder than normal as well. So I'm focusing obviously on Central Texas weather for the holidays. If you're traveling, there's a higher probability than not wherever you're going is going to be much colder than what we have here in Austin. The Christmas week in general is trending really cold across the contiguous U.S. So it'll be something we'll be watching for. But like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty beyond 7 days. But for those who are eager to start planning, I would definitely make sure we're moving those Christmas and holiday festivities inside, because it's probably going to get into that uncomfortably cold kind of stretch once we look beyond this week's 7 day.
I'm already taking note because I'm thinking about what I'm going to pack whenever I leave for the holidays. So I need
Yes.
to maybe pack a little bit of a heavier jacket, some sweaters, those kinds of things.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll see. We're obviously keeping a very close eye on Christmas in general, because we got a lot of people anticipating the holiday. But is a cold Christmas, a horrible thing?
No.
I'd rather it probably be in the 40s than 90s, right?
Do you remember last year here in Texas? It was so warm. It felt almost like summer on Christmas. Something just not right about that.
Yeah, you want to wear the Christmas sweaters. You want to not, be sweating your tush off in the Santa hat. So I agree with you. We just need to make sure there's nothing wintry when it comes to the sky. That's going to be something that I'm not seeing right now, but, it's always on the table when we look a little bit further out than 7 days.
All right, well, we know that we can trust you guys to track everything that's coming. One other thing that people are dealing with, not just in addition to the cold, is the cedar allergies that are
Yes.
popping back up again. If you may hear it in my voice, it sounds a little raspier. My nose is a little stuffier today
Oh.
because of that. I mean, any whiff of it in the air, it just hits me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's a lot of Central Texans suffering from cedar fever, the infamous cedar fever. So let me scoot forward and show you today's pollen count. These are brand new numbers that I brought you on the CW Austin in the 7 a.m. hour, because as soon as it gets into the Weather Center, I update you on air, because this is huge this time of year. If you're brand new to Central Texas, or if you've been here for 100 years, cedar comes roaring in as we get into December. Now, this morning's pollen count shows cedar at high and increasing, but I'm going to tell you, when I was crunching the numbers this morning, yesterday, cedar was at 140 count. Today, it was a 1,400 count. So it exploded overnight. We have much, much more cedar in our air this morning. Mold is actually lower. Now, doing a little bit of forecasting here, we've got winds coming out of the northwest, breezy winds today, gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour. Most of the juniper, the cedar that we have here in Central Texas, is to our northwest. So when we see winds from the northwest coming to Austin, it's going to pick up all that cedar pollen and bring it to Austin. So we'll probably see at least a matched cedar count tomorrow, if not even more than what we're seeing today. Mold's probably also going to increase, because we had some rain this morning, and typically we see a little bit more of that mold spike after heavy rain events, I should say. But this is normal, right? This is part of the cost of living in Central Texas, is the fact that cedar is our primary pollen once we get into the later part of December. So this is just a little bit of a calendar we use to kind of give us a heads up as what pollens are most populous during certain times of the year. And as you can see, December, that last little bar there, cedar and mold. Those are the two things we always watch for this time of year. And cedar typically doesn't spike until January. So it's probably going to get a little worse before it gets better.
Oh, great.
I know. It's interesting. I'm not even from Texas. I've been here for 3.5 years. And now all of a sudden I get irritated with cedar too.
Yeah.
So even if you're a transplant, that cedar fever has no mercy, right? You could fall victim of it even if you didn't think you were allergic to cedar.
It is very real, so I'm going to keep my allergy meds Very close at hand, too.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear that. And for those who are really sensitive to those spikes, the counts we always update on KXAN.com. So I'll point everybody there just because I show you the map on TV every day. You usually see this one, but the actual counts are on our website. It's KXAN.com. Under the weather tab, you'll see allergy, and you'll find them all right there.
Many helpful resources at our website. Kristen Curry, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you again.
We'll see you later.
All right, everybody. More details are available about the forecast, the allergy count, and so much more on KXAN.com. You can also access it all on the KXAN News mobile app that you can download onto your smartphone. I have it handy, and the push alerts are very helpful as well. Thank you all again for watching here this morning. I'm Will Dupree in the KXAN Live studio. We'll see you back here soon. Take care, everybody.